Real estate is always known by its verticals or segments: residential, retail, office, and likewise. Most of the large and listed players have a portfolio where they have a diversified bouquet of offerings. There is hardly any case study other than Puravankara, which is predominantly a residential player, and still they have a bouquet of offerings. They have created sub verticals into residential areas. I am Ravi Sinha, and today I have with me one of the verticals head, Mallanna Sasalu, CEO of Provident Housing, and we would like to know why Puravankara has decided to get into a diversified portfolio of a residential segment.
Residential, it's a very good question. Residential has many facets, right? There are different categories of people from the perspective of their earning, age, and demographics, and geographies, and so on and so forth. So we thought that it is better to focus individually. And it's not that we have many. We have got only 3 verticals in residential. One is Purva, and the other one is Purva Land. The other one is the Provident. So Purva, the Purva is all of them come under the company Puravankara. The brand is Puravankara, and we have these 3 sub brands attached to it. Purva does projects anything above 1.5 crore rupees and above, going up to 6 crore, 7 crore rupees. So it is a little bit of that high-end apartments wherein mostly they happen in city centers, in a land infill city center projects where land is very expensive, and that is which requires a different set of competencies for an organization to cater to. Purva Land is because the marketing and sales of a plotted development is completely different from how we sell apartments. So Purva Land, so we've got a leadership created for that and only for the purpose of plotting and selling. Provident, as you know that 70% or more of the entire Indian organized residential comes under the 30 lakhs rupees to maybe 90 lakhs rupees, 30 lakhs rupees to 1 crore rupee price bracket, which was previously called kind of an affordable housing. Now all developers are in affordable housing. I can say most of the developers, large developers, if you look at it, their portfolio, the similar portfolio they have, up to 70% of their portfolio is in this category. The question that you asked was why. The reason why we went in this way is to bring focus to each type of business, where in residential, in particularly where Provident 30 lakhs to 90 lakhs rupees, it requires meticulous planning. It requires making sure that 1,100 square feet apartment gives a similar set of experience for people who are living in 1,500 square feet. It is not that these apartments will have anything less in terms of the specifications or choice of materials that we make and other things. It is just a little bit of a smaller sized apartment, and also we have to be very cost conscious in this one. So we move more towards modularity. We will usually develop 3 or 4 or 5 different types of apartment sets. We tend to repeat, because what happens is that is the way of we will never be able to completely industrialize the construction. We will only be able to partially do that. So you modularize that. Modularity leads to repeatability leads to portability, and that's the reason why this kind of focused approach that we have taken.
Affordable housing as a term has been overused and abused. Every other developer is calling his project as affordable. How do you differentiate your brand in this cluttered market?
So I have to just give you a little bit of history of Provident for that. When the market in 2006, 2007, we were all in the entire market, and entire developers world was catering to top 3% or 5% of the urban population, and we were only working on that population. That we were all competing in the same set of customer segment. That is when our chairman decided that we need to get into this affordable housing. Then it was sold at 3,200 rupees. We launched one of the largest at that point of time, 3,300 apartments on the Ballapur Road, and People who sat outside and looked at it and said that this is going to take, this will make everybody bankrupt. That's the way they looked at it. But that was a super hit project. Within 1 year, the entire project was sold and delivered in 6 years or so, 3,300 apartments. That is when affordable housing was started. To be very frankly, that Provident in this country can proudly say that we started the trend of affordable housing. While that was going on in 2013 and 14, central government came up with the affordable housing concept. In that, what they did was that the 30 square meters and the 60 square meters gave terminologies like EWS, economically weaker section, lower income group. The moment those affordability started getting attached to that, people started calling that as the cheaper housing. Oh, affordable housing is cheaper housing. Affordable housing is not cheaper housing, right? And then what happened at the same time, what was happening was that the competition in the top 5% of the population, that market started heating up and all developers started coming down and they all came down. Provident went up a little bit. And today, what I would say is that every developer is an affordable housing developer simply because that is where everybody are there. So today, Provident is, I would say that we are no more, we won't term ourselves as affordable housing developers. We are category free developers. What do I mean by that? We are simply developers concentrating between 30 lakhs rupees to 90 lakhs rupees, focused approach. And that is what we have built the company for. And that is where we will continue because that focus will give us large scale. That scalability is the only way the real estate development, particularly residential development, can work. And that is the reason why. I think I hope
But
that
how do
I
you
answered your
position
question.
your brand?
Positioning our brand as the larger, you see, for example, positioning the value, the brand is something like this. How do we provide, if all developers are working between 30 lakhs rupees to 90 lakhs rupees, we want to say that we provide the greatest value per rupee that customer spends. Let us say that there are situations where there is a certain location where the top one, the top three developers out of the top 10 developers, the three developers are right there next to us, right? The question here is that why do people buy from us? People buy from us because we want to provide the largest value. How do we demonstrate that? We demonstrate that in writing that where is the greatest value that the customer can actually derive. It is without getting into the comparative side, the comparison with all other developers for the respect we have for them. We demonstrate that this is the way we actually provide the value, greater value compared
Is
to
this something tangible or intangible?
It is all there is tangible and intangible also. Even the intangibles have been converted to tangible and shown. For example, if I were to say that you are going to be saving this much of water in this development, means that becomes a tangible. If you're saying that you're going to save this much of electricity, means that becomes tangible. If I say that in our project that the sustainability, that the biogas production or whatever that we are doing in terms of solid waste management, this is how we are going to do that, then that becomes tangible. So it's all tangible benefits is what we're talking about.
Affordable housing is also home to most of the consumer complaints. So how do you manage that?
See, there is no more that before. The concept of affordable housing was how do we build cheaper? How do we build smaller? How do we make construction even more efficient and so on and so forth? So what happened because of that? We forgot that we have to build a livable house first. First, we have to plan a livable house, not just by squeezing the floor plan, bringing it closer, and then compromising on construction would not lead to the cost saving, and hence it is the cost saving that transferred to the customer. First and foremost, we have to plan a livable house to the people, and which requires all the thorough planning, and also the quality of a certain standard quality must be maintained. It took some time for the industry to come into that facet of thinking, and now I think we have a strong quality team in our company. We ensure that, for example, to give you an example, in our Park Square project, some 145 units were looked at by the customers, and there were only 3 apartments came with snacks, and 142 units were accepted by customers as 100% perfect, because we go through that some 64 points, very strict quality check on all our projects. And also, when you're going to adopt newer technologies like precast and things like that, there must be a clear understanding of how and what. And most of the developments which were in the earlier stages across the city had leakages when they adopted the precast technology. And so those were the kind of things that what you heard. And I think mostly, not only us, most of the developers have overcome that challenge of quality per se in 30 to 90 lakhs rupees apartment segment.
But how do you assess your consumer satisfaction score?
I think what it is at this point of time, I think that we are well on our way going up. Yes, there were some issues, some 4, 5, 6 years back, because we were on the cutting edge of putting the newest systems. We were the first one to start precast technology. We were the first one to get into this kind of smaller sized apartment, an affordable housing apartment. Yes, we had some initial problems, and now I am pretty sure that our brand, our quality, and our assessment by the people has consistently gone up. And in the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm pretty sure that we will be in the top 2, top 3 of the industry in the country.
When it comes to affordable housing, uh, there are hardly referral buyers or repeat buyers. So client acquisition cost is very high in this segment. How do you overcome that challenge?
See, actually speaking, in any real estate, repeat buyers are very low. Same if somebody going to the same developer and buying some 2, 3 apartments is, if you take a look at when Bangalore sells for 40 to 50,000 units, if you look at repeat customers, it will be, I'm pretty sure, in decimals rather than not even 1% of the total stock is sold on repeat customers. But what is important is what we call is the privileged customers. Privileged customers are the customers who actually refer their family, extended family, friends, and also sends word of appreciation to the people. From there we get the business, and that's the business that what we are looking at. In fact, we are very strong in building that privileged community, and in fact we have got people who are referring and they get the benefits of those things. And we build that community, and we have the better opportunity compared to most of the developers, because at Provident we don't do anything smaller apartments. We do 5,000 units, 3,000 units, 2,500 units. The only way we can sell those apartments is building that community. We almost, even after handing over with the society, we come up with a month or yearly chart for what do they do for Ganesha festival, what do they do for Moharram or any other festival, or Christmas or any other festival that is there, and how do they celebrate. And we get involved in it, including the national festivals like Independence Day and Republic Day and so on and so forth. And that is how we get our sales, and also be part of the community for a long period of time with them.
And if I ask you, where is the cutting the corners? What is your cost of construction per square feet?
So it depends on where we are. And in Bangalore, we anyway between 2,400, 2,500 rupees, 2,600 rupees. There is no cutting corners at all. We use the best of the double charged vitrified tiles. We use the best of the ceramic fittings and CP fittings. And there is absolutely, as a matter of fact, what happens is that in affordable housing, since the walls are going to come closer, if you are building a 14 feet by 14 feet bedroom, and if you're building a 10 feet by 10 feet bedroom consistently, then it always becomes, cement and concrete becomes, and steel becomes much more expensive in an affordable housing. So there is no cutting corner. As a matter of fact, from Provident now, I am trying to propose to people that as developers, we have taken away a lot of things from people. Why don't we give back those things to people? For example, kitchen. Why don't we put the kitchen and give it to them? And why don't we give them the exhaust fans in the bathroom? Why is that we took that away from them? Right? And in the ground floor, first floor, for the safety purpose, why don't we give the grilled windows to them? And this is where we are going. And not only that, for example, electrical vehicles are coming up. We want to make sure that anybody on a choice that if they want electrical vehicle charging station, and they should be able to put the thing. So we want to give them that infrastructure that is required. So there is no cutting corner. There is, in fact, we are adding to the corners. That is what I would say. We don't need to cut the corners. And frankly speaking, whatever you try to do, cut the corners, you're not going to save more than 50 to 75 rupees, and which may actually create a problem of 500 rupees with the customers. I would rather say that spend 25 rupees more and the customer is happy, means they want to pay you back 50 to 75 rupees out of that.
Personally, as a professional, you have worked across the verticals. Which segment is most challenging and why?
Obviously, the residential is most challenging simply because you are dealing with public facing, right? You're dealing with people's hard-earned money given to us directly, which brings a lot of responsibility for us. We have to give them something that makes them happy. We're going to live for 15, 20, 25 years in that area. The second thing is also about, as we say that, we are becoming better as a country in terms of records, land records and other things. Sometimes what happens is that some of the surprises that come to us, right? If it is a commercial development, I have to just deal with myself and my clients as a developer and my clients, and I want to deal with it. And now we are dealing with 1,000 people or 2,000 people because their future is put in jeopardy because there is something has gone wrong. So this is much more challenging. Residential is obviously challenging. And plotted development, since the association is for a very short time, 2 years, 1.5 years, 2 years, it may not be that challenging. And I would rate most challenging is residential, next challenging is plotted, and maybe least challenging is commercial. Commercial has other challenges of leasing and other things, but from a customer facing and a delivery perspective, commercial outbeats residential anytime.
So within the residential segment, which segment is most challenging? Is it affordable housing?
Yeah, absolutely, in my opinion, because simply what happens is that if I'm doing a 50 lakhs rupees or 60 lakhs rupees apartment, to get the same amount of revenue, I need to sell 4 versus what to 2.40 crore rupees apartment, which we are going to be making, right? In that apartment, 2.40 crore rupees apartment, since we are selling 2.40 crore rupees apartment, margins are slightly better than the affordable housing or the 30-50 lakhs rupees apartment, which means that you have an ability to spend a little bit more to make sure that when you go wrong, you can fix it. But in affordable housing, you don't have that choice. You have to get it right for the first time. And the advantage of the question may be that why do you want to be in the affordable housing? Because this is the only place where the scalability is possible. If I keep on building 5 crore rupee apartment, it is not every day's game. It depends on, you should be lucky enough to get a land on which a 5 crore rupee apartment can be built, right? So those are the challenges. So with the challenges and which comes the rewards, and very happy with as a professional, I'm in a challenging environment and also a rewarding environment.
Finally, what are the future plans of Provident Housing?
That's a good question. So far, we have delivered around 12,500 units so far since the last, whatever, the 13, 14 years that we have done that much. And currently 10,000 units have been approved and are in construction and in available for sales. And that construction is going on, sales is going on. And by March 31st, that we want to launch around 5 projects, which will give us a portfolio of around 8 million square feet in 3 cities, Bangalore, Chennai, and Cochin, around 8 million square feet. And apart from that, daily we are meeting landlords, we are looking for new business opportunities. And probably in the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to add somewhere around 30 million square feet. That could be because we already own some lands that we need to just make sure that they become developable, or there's going to be fresh acquisition either through purchase or through joint development agreements.
And which are the key cities where we are focusing?
All major cities, Bangalore, Cochin, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Pune are our key locations. And we have presence in Coimbatore and Mangalore and Goa. Goa, I think ours is one of the largest projects in Goa, almost 2,000 units in a single development. So yeah, so these are the 5-6 cities where we are concentrating at this point of time.
Thank you, Mr. Sasalu. So this has been Mr. Mallanna Sasalu, CEO of Provident Housing, sharing with us their brand positioning, market differentiation, as well as the future plans. With this, I'm signing off. Thank you.